For stone was the embodiment of every pharaoh's power and his greatest weapon against time. The overriding mission of each new king was to secure the quarries that would provide raw material for monuments to his reign. This obelisk would have been the tallest in the ancient world, but a flaw in the granite caused it to crack before it was completed. How its massive 1,200 tons would have been moved and raised into place remains a mystery. In ancient Egypt, stone was the medium of immortality. It was stone that assured the king's name would be remembered, his immortality guaranteed. And one pharaoh surpassed all others in his efforts to be remembered. His name is Ramses the Great. The greatest builder in Egypt's history, Ramses ruled until his 90th year. His harem overflowed with queens, lesser wives, and concubines, and included 3 daughters and a sister. He was father to more than 90 children. But his greatest legacy was left in stone. As a great general motivates his troops for battle, Ramses' most inspirational words were for his builders.
O my chosen workmen, valiant men of proven skill, craftsmen in valuable stone, I am your constant provider. The granaries groan with grain for you. None of you need pass the night in hunger.
But even Ramses' stone monuments would lose the battle against his ultimate enemy, time. Across the river from Luxor, in the temple built to preserve his memory, Ramses' fallen statue lies broken, his features worn away. His head resting at the feet of god figures whose powers could not protect the legacy of Egypt's mightiest king. The temple where the name Ramses would be kept alive forever now stands empty. What became of Ramses' treasures? Where are his worldly goods? Where is his golden mask? Only this survives. This is the naked mummy of the once mighty Ramses. His body bears witness to a fate Egypt's mightiest ruler could never have foretold. By the year 550 AD, the golden age of Egyptian civilization had passed. A waning Roman Empire now ruled Egypt. With the Romans came Christianity. The ancient faith in reincarnation and immortality was banned. Still, one last bastion of Egypt's ancient knowledge and beliefs remained. This secluded shrine named the Temple of Philae. Inside these walls, priests kept the ancient faith alive. They still prayed to the goddess Isis, mother of Horus, the falcon god, and still practiced the rituals that promised immortality. Only in the Temple of Philae were the mysteries of the ancient gods still respected and revered. And only these holy men could still read the ancient writing, the hieroglyphs carved upon the walls. Finally, this last remaining outpost of Egyptian civilization came under attack. A mob of Christian zealots, outraged at the continuing worship of pagan gods, assaulted the priests, breaking the last living link to the pharaohs. The priests were killed or scattered. They took their knowledge of the hieroglyphs to their graves. Egypt's dreams had been destroyed. The divine secrets of sleeping pharaohs, their sacred quest for immortality, all lost, perhaps forever, beneath the drifting sands. The silence lasted 1,300 years. Then another invader arrived. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte brought his armies to Egypt, seeking empire and knowledge. With his soldiers came a unique group of scientists and artists to study and record the remains of ancient Egypt. A year into the French occupation, troops demolishing a wall made a remarkable discovery. They stumbled upon one of the most significant archaeological finds of all time: the Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone is one of those wonderful chance archaeological discoveries which change history. Without accident, archaeology would never have happened. All the greatest discoveries, many of them, have been made by accident. Literally the moment it arrived at the French Institute in Cairo, the experts there recognized that this really was the way in which it might be possible to decipher hieroglyphs, because there was Greek on the stone.
The Greek was the key, for carved above the Greek inscription was the same message in the forgotten hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt. Because Greek was known to scholars, it provided the key to decoding the language of the pharaohs. Now, thousands of years of ancient Egyptian writings could be translated. After centuries of silence, Egyptian voices could be heard once more.
As to any flooding on our land, it is you who are cultivating it, and you who are responsible for it. Work hard and be careful. If my lands flood, woe be to you. The letters of the Conakite.
One having a wound on his temple, treat the ailment with a poultice of fresh meat the first day. Treat afterwards every day with grease and honey until he recovers. The Surgical Papyrus.
The sound of your voice is sweet, full like the taste of date wine. And I, drunken girl in a tangle of flowers, live only a captive to hear it. Love poem, circa 1300 BC.
The discovery of the Rosetta Stone, along with the paintings of Napoleon's artists, provided the West with a window into the magical land of the pharaohs. Kings who built magnificent monuments and were rumored to have learned the secrets of eternal life. And the world fell in love with Egypt. Now, tourists and mystics, treasure hunters and archaeologists all descended on the valley of the Nile.
The colossi don't look at all colossal. On the contrary, they're quite in keeping with everything about them, as if they were the natural size of man and we were dwarfs. Florence Nightingale, 1849.
The temple's proportion puts in mind a giant buried up to its waist, overwhelming man's puny stature with its head and shoulders. We are amazed. Jean-Jacques Ampère, 1868.
Who shall say it's not lively, exhilarating, lacerating, muscle-straining, bone-wrenching, and perfectly excruciating and exhausting pastime climbing the pyramids? Mark Twain, 1869.
But of all Egypt's wonders, one captured the world's imagination like nothing else in human history. In the desert of the Giza Plateau, stoically surviving the swirling winds and grinding sands of nearly 5,000 years, they defined this society that dreamed of immortality. For the pyramids seemed to have defeated time itself. The world's most recognized symbol of the glory that was ancient Egypt, built as tombs, later gutted, robbed, battered by the centuries, and still they endure. There are more than 2.3 million blocks of limestone in the Great Pyramid of Cheops, each stone weighing from 2 to 15 tons. Its base is a near-perfect square. 481 feet tall, it could hold the equivalent of 872 wide-body jets. And still today, the mysteries abound. Where did the technology come from? How were they able to move such vast amounts of stone prior to the invention of the wheel? Perhaps most intriguing of all, who could have imagined all this possible? Eternal stone structures, the largest on Earth, when nothing, even a fraction of their size, had ever been built. The answer lies 9 miles south, among the old kingdom tombs of Saqqara and the step pyramid of King Djoser, the very first stone building in all the world. This was the laboratory that proved the Great Pyramids possible. Unlike anything the world had ever seen, it was so remarkable a feat of engineering, its architect, Imhotep, was proclaimed a god. Originally designing a simple, low-slung tomb called a mastaba, Imhotep wasn't satisfied. He added one layer, then another, and another, and another, as if building steps to heaven. He also tunneled deep into the earth, creating a labyrinth of chambers, galleries, and corridors designed to keep the king's true burial site secret and protect the royal mummy from grave robbers. Down dark, twisting passageways, at every turn, in every detail, what Imhotep accomplished seems overwhelming still.
There is no scientific explanation given to the public to tell them how the pyramids was built. They never left a papyrus roll or a description in a stone to say how they did it.
Today it takes a 350 horsepower diesel engine and hydraulic lifter to pick up this 7-ton granite slab.